So, welcome back, guys. I had hoped to move fish out this week for you, but apparently Mother Nature's a real jokester, and instead we got snow. So today we'll be doing something different. Hey guys, and welcome back. I am Rachel O'Leary, and because of the snow and the freezing cold temperatures, obviously I'm not moving fish out this week. It's pretty frustrating. Time is ticking. I only have a little over 3 weeks left to get everything done, but you can't rush Mother Nature. So I thought instead today I would pot some carnivorous plant seeds. My friends Sheila and Gavin, who are also in the Mid-Atlantic Carnivorous Plant Association, which has a great website full of information, by the way, and who partners with the carnivorousplantnursery.com. At their last meeting, they did a potting demo, which I didn't get to attend for various reasons. But Sheila and Gavin were nice enough to bring me all the seeds, so I thought that I would plant them today. And I've just gotten a Jiffy tray together, which has this nice plastic liner, a plastic lid to retain humidity. And I'm going to take my potting mix, which is half blasting sand, half peat that's been soaking, fill these up, plant them, and then see if they grow. Now it can take, it says 70 days to germinate. So it'll be a bit before they're done, but I thought we'd just do it and then we can check in on them, you know, throughout the upcoming months and see if it worked, how they're doing, and then try and identify all the plants that are in here, because it is a mix of, it looks like 9 different plants and there's about 50 different seeds. So let's get started. Now this is my potting mix, and again it's just about half sand, half peat, and it's very damp, and it's important to use these inert soils because carnivorous plants get all of their nutrition through eating bugs. Now it's important to make sure we use this sort of inert soil as well as collected rainwater or RO water for these plants, because if you remember correctly, they get all their nutrition through an adaptation of eating bugs, and they come from soils that have basically no nutritional value. So if you use soil that is enriched with any sort of fertilizers, they tend to not grow pitchers and they can get burnt and die. So it's actually going to be easier to use my hands. So I just went to my local hardware store and picked up pure long fiber sphagnum, and I got some blasting sand. It's just black diamond, sort of a fine grit, and I mix them together, and that's so that they don't compact too hard. And I'm just going to fill up all these little pots. You just sow the seeds on the surface. So, this Jiffy pot has, I believe, 50 compartments, 2, 4, 6, yep, and I have 50 seeds, roughly, so it should work out perfectly, and this will make it easier for me to identify later by not mixing them within the little pots. Now, I don't really expect them all to work, but we'll see together. It'll be a nice thing for me to look at when I'm out for surgery to see the progress on, and if they're taking or not. I do have a few fish coming in today, which I may show you as well, depending on what time they get here. Just a little bit, a few more of some of the fish I already have in order to have them all prepared to move out to the greenhouse in good numbers. Now, generally when I move fish out for summer tubbing, I just move out small groups, like 6 to 10 fish, to breed, and then that way the population and the bioload on the tubs gradually increases, so I don't have any issues with cycle or anything like that. Now, some of the species that I'm going to be moving out, and which I'll show you after we're done potting this, are celestial pearl danios, the Danio margaritatus, Microdevaria cubitai. I'm going to be moving out the Okefenokee pygmy sunfish. I'm going to be moving out maybe some ember tetras to try. I have an adult group of Coreodoros hebrosus, the little salt and pepper dwarf cory, that I'm going to move out. I have some Dario, which I'm going to try outside. I have some blue Neocaridina shrimp, some cherry shrimp, and my white clouds for my 150, all of which will be moving out. And then I'm on the fence. I have a bunch of really cool Tetras in the fish room right now. Most specifically those Phoenix Tetras. And I'm really tempted to try them outside because they're kind of pricey. They're like $7 a piece. But I've never had a whole lot of success breeding Tetras outside. But I think we're going to try it anyway. I also have some chili rasboras and some Boraurus maculatus I want to move out. Just a whole bunch of stuff. And I think it's going to be a really fun tubbing season. My biggest concern right now, though, is that our spring is so delayed that I don't know that I'll be able to set up my outdoor tubs, which I was sort of banking on, especially that 600 gallon because things breed so well in there. But with how profoundly cold and snowy it's been, I just am not sure that I'll be able to get that done. You know, normally I move fish out around Mother's Day weekend when the overnight temperatures are about 50 and the daytimes are in the 70s. But right now today it's just barely above freezing. And even in the greenhouse here, it's only about 50 degrees. You can see my breath. It's very cold. All right. So, I'm going to open this up. So it's possible, wow, these seeds are so tiny. Holy moly. You hear how loud the rain is? Stupid weather. I'm going to bring the camera over so you guys can see how small these seeds are. I don't know that I'll be able to pot them individually. There's tons though. You can see how small they are. Some of them are larger. Those will be easy, but we'll do the best we can. I also have a couple seed pods from my own carnivorous plants that I saved from last year that I may use as well. I'm just going to go ahead and do my best to spread some seeds on the surface of each of these pots. With how tiny they are, it's going to be absolutely impossible to do a singular seed. In fact, some of this might even just be debris. I can't even tell. So I'll go ahead and do that, and then we'll put the cup, we'll water it with some rainwater. Luckily, we have plenty of that. Just gonna fill the tray with some water. Put this lid on and then see what happens over the next couple months. I mean, it's possible nothing will happen. It's also possible all these seeds could germinate, at which time I would have a really incredible collection then of carnivorous plants. So let's go down to the fish room and take a look at some of the fish I've been saving to move outside. So as I was heading into the house, my fish order came, so I figured we'd take a quick look. I got some white clouds, which are super teeny. I got some gold ring danios. I got some cubitai. I got some trapdoor snails, which are good pond snail. I got some yellow shrimp and some snowball shrimp. And what's really, really important when getting in Neocaridinas is to give them a really good visual inspection to make sure they don't have any disease. And for the first time in quite a long time, it appears that the shrimp that I've gotten do not have any visible disease. Now I'll go ahead and do a bunch of macro photography of them just to make sure, but so far so good. Now some of these fish I might... Gosh, I don't even know where I'm going to put them because I've broken down so many tanks. I'm not quite sure what I was thinking here. I do have a couple of tanks where I can add fish safely. And then I may have to set a few tanks back up, which is like shooting myself in the foot. But it'll only be for, you know, a week or two until I can move stuff outside. So since I've unpacked the fish, I just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about how I choose the fish that I do to work with outside, and then we'll take a look at some of the ones that I'm definitely going to use, some of the ones I'm on the fence. Because I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to get my exterior bins set up, it limits me in how many fish I can move out. So, we're in a bit of a pickle of a dilly, but generally what I do when I'm choosing fish is I try and pick ones, of course, that are going to be in demand for me to sell again. I also try and pick species that are a little bit more tolerant to subtropical temperatures. This is generally Danios, and they do really, really well. Any of those Danios, Rasboras, any of the cyprinids do super, super well. Now, Tetras, generally speaking, need things a bit warmer, and I'm thinking in the greenhouse that might work. But all in all, I just try and pick fish that are obviously going to sell well and that are a bit more tolerant of a wider range of temperatures. So let's take a look at a few of the species that I'm positive I'm going to use and a few that I'm on the fence about. Now, my number one favorite fish to move outside are my white clouds, and that's because they breed my number one favorite fish to move outside are my white cloud minnows, and that's because they breed like crazy outside. I think they're a really versatile, wonderful fish, and they can take a wide range of temperatures. So these guys, sorry about the focus, these guys will definitely be going outside. I've been working with this line for about 8 years, and they always do really, really well for me. I also had really, really good luck last year moving out my Indian hatchets, these Laubuca dotty bourgeoisi. So I'm going to be moving out a group of those as well. They're not a particularly pricey fish, but I think they're a really cool one that should be worked with more. So we'll be moving a bunch of them out as well. Again, just because I think they're a cool fish and that they would do really well. Now, I also plan to move out these rice fish. Again, they're one that breed very, very readily. I showed you guys before that these guys were actually carrying eggs in quarantine. You can see the male at the top there, that's more blue with more bold orange, and then the females are more of a lemony color. But all of them have that lamp eye, and I just think they're a really awesome fish, and I think they'll do super amazing outside. Now, I've never worked with them outside before, but just based on how well they do in aquariums, I know that they'll be a good choice. A species that I'm on the fence about, are these Boraris maculatus. I've tried Boraris outside, chili rasboras, as well as others, several times, and I've had really mixed results. A couple of times they've done really well, but generally it seems as though the fry don't really thrive. But I'm wondering if by doing them in the greenhouse where the temperatures will be more consistent, if I'll have better luck. You know, these are a fish that I think are exceptionally well suited to small aquariums, so I think it'd be really useful for me to breed them. So I'm really, really tempted to give them a try. Let me know what you guys think below. And if I do a Boraris, do you think I should do these maculatus, or do you think I should try the chilies? Now, I told you guys I'm going to move the least killies outside, but the problem I have is I only have a couple of females and a lot of males. So I may end up just moving out a trio or something like that, or maybe 2 pair. You can see this female is absolutely rotund and ready to give birth at any moment. Now, Cubitai are another one that I really like to breed outside. That's because they're not always the easiest to import. They can come in kind of fragile, but they're absolutely gorgeous. But they're absolutely gorgeous and super popular, so it would be a really smart business decision for me to move these guys outside, so I'm definitely going to do that. I'm also going to move out these Endler's live bearers, and that's because they're a species that's threatened, and I think it'd be a great thing for the hobby for me to breed a whole ton of them. They're super easy, a great little live bearer, absolutely gorgeous, and I know that I will get a ton of fry by moving them outside. So those are just a few of the species that I'm really thinking about. I have a lot of options down here in the fish room. And I think what's going to happen is I'm going to end up combining compatible species within each tub just to give that a shot. Now, generally speaking, I keep things in their own species tub, but with how many fish I want to move out and the limited space, because I still haven't gotten my other set of bins and I'm not sure I'll be able to set up the outdoor bins, I may have to compromise this year. Regardless, I have a feeling it's going to be a really awesome summer tubbing season, and I hope a lot of you are considering giving it a try as well. It provides really awesome sound from the bubbling. The plants are incredible. The fish color up beautifully, and it's just super fun to do. Let me know below if you guys are going to give it a try. There's a lot of great options for tubs, from stock tubs to the Laguna ones that I use that are made for aquaculture, to even like the plastic whiskey barrels that you can get at Home Depot or Lowe's for about $20. I do encourage you to choose a volume as big as possible, because the more volume you have, the more stable the temperature stays and the easier it is to maintain. Plus, you have way more room for plants and the eventual growth and expansion of your fish colony. As always, thank you for your continued support. Make sure you stop by my Instagram, my Facebook, and my website, MsJinx.com, where you can find my upcoming speaking engagements, my current stock list, and information on all things nano. Let me know below what your opinion is on which fish I should work with. I'm going to be putting a list up probably on my business Facebook, and maybe I'll even have you guys take a vote to help me make the decision.